My 600-Pound Life showcases some of the most motivated people on this planet. The fact that some of these contestants are able to lose so much weight is incredible. However, there are some people on this show who are absolutely insane. Today, we are going to take a look at some of the craziest people showcased on My 600-Pound Life. Be sure to watch this entire video, as you won't want to miss out on these crazy people. Also, leave a like and subscribe to the channel to never miss a single video. That being said, let's get right into it. The Asante Brothers. If you are a big fan of My 600-Pound Life, you know that the Asante Brothers are two of the most popular contestants on the show. The Asante Brothers are Steven and Justin. Steven is most likely the most controversial stars on My 600-Pound Life. They were caught cheating on Dr. Now's diet advice, and even threw tantrums on the show. To be fair, most of the really bad behavior was courtesy of Steven, but poor Justin got lumped in with his brother more often than not. To say the least, these two were absolutely insane. Dr. Now even had to cut Steven off from the weight loss program and send him straight to drug rehab and give him a handful of talking tos as though Steven were Dr. Now's own son. On the other hand, Justin was definitely not as bad in terms of his appearance on the show. Nobody could stand his older brother Steven on the show, and it turns out Justin couldn't either. He explained how he was a victim of Steven's bullying too. According to a Facebook post from May 2018, Steven Asante is married to a woman named Stephanie. He keeps things fairly private, but her page is full of swooning declarations of love. She also told Sarcasm her husband is nothing like how he was perceived on the TV show at all. He's a gentleman and a fantastic lover and a lover of life in general. Well, that is pretty surprising. For Justin, it seems he is living a fine life on his own, glad to be away from his crazy brother Steven. Amber Ratchety. Amber has one of the most motivating and craziest stories on My 600-Pound Life. When she first appeared on the show at age 23, she weighed 657 pounds and said she felt like a nasty, yucky monster. With a lot of her weight in her legs, Amber claimed she couldn't even stand for more than 30 minutes. After losing 20 pounds in order to qualify for gastric bypass surgery with Dr. Now, she underwent the procedure and ended up getting down to 377 pounds within a year. But it didn't end there. Amber ultimately lost over 400 pounds and documented the entire thing via her social media platforms. "I spent a long time not liking me, so I'm documenting moments I feel pretty," Amber wrote in a Facebook post. She recently got married to her boyfriend and is now living a much better life than before. She might not be crazy in the sense of her personality, but we must say that her story is definitely a crazy one to share. Jean Covey. Jean Covey was a 39-year-old woman from Big Sandy, Texas. She appeared on Season 7, Episode 11 on My 600-Pound Life. She was at her peak weight at 702 pounds when she met Dr. Now for the first time and began her year-long weight loss journey. Like many people who are on the show, Jean had a terrible past which led her to eat a lot of food, eventually forming an addiction to eating. According to Jean's mother Barbara, Jean was just 5 years old when she began stealing and eating unhealthy snacks from her abusive grandmother as a form of revenge. A year after that, Jean was molested by her mother's then boyfriend, and food became her only source for comfort and happiness. You already know when people are stealing snacks, they must be a bit crazy. After a rocky start in the program and struggling with her new diet plans, just as Jean began making some progress in her weight loss journey, things started taking a turn for the worst. Her mother Barbara fell ill and has to undergo a surgery of her own. She also had problems with her father, and things really weren't going well. But perhaps one of the craziest things that came out of this all was she actually ended up suing My 600-Pound Life's production company, Megalomedia. She claims that the company did not come through with their promise to pay the medical expenses. She even added that they forced her and her mother to continue filming for the show when they didn't want to. You have to ask yourself, why did she even agree to be on the show in the first place if she just wanted to find a way to sue them? Olivia Cruz. When we first met Olivia, she weighed in at 578 pounds and lived in her mother's basement. She was dependent on her family for everything and couldn't even perform the most mundane daily activities like showering and walking without assistance. Sure enough, she wanted that all changed for the better. However, she had already undergone 2 weight loss surgeries, which both were unsuccessful. But she didn't give up there, as she decided to see the one and only Dr. Now. The doctors in Houston agreed to meet with Olivia and perform a sleeve-type gastric bypass. As a result, she managed to drop almost 400 pounds. She now works at her dream job, a chef. In a follow-up for her weight loss, Olivia stated, "I had to stop training because I couldn't stand and move around like I needed to. But now, I can stand all day. I'm going back to pick back up where I left off. And I'm so excited about that. The future I hope for is so close now," Olivia concluded. "I can't go back out in society again, and I can make a living for the first time in almost a decade and a half. Just 3 years ago, I was barely able to move and barely able to take care of myself at all. Now I'm a completely different person. I'm able to be a part of society again and go out in the world." This is definitely a great story that we must give and applaud to. Sean Milliken. Sean Milliken seemed like he was moving in the right direction after a rocky start to his weight loss journey. After initially weighing in at nearly 900 pounds and being mostly immobile, Milliken was finally able to turn things around and get weight loss surgery. That, in turn, helped him drop hundreds of pounds and regain his ability to walk. Sean was a very likable character on the show, and he was genuine and motivated to better himself. But in 2018, tragedy struck, and Milliken's mother passed away from renal failure. Additionally, since she was his supporter, he had to move out of his Houston apartment. He was clearly thrust into a very difficult situation in more ways than one. In another sorrowful turn of events, Milliken himself passed away in the hospital from complications from an infection in February of 2019. He was having problems with his breathing, his father wrote on Facebook. They were able to resuscitate him, and a short time later, his heart stopped. He was only 29 years old. Definitely a sad story. The Brandy and Candy twins. Brandy and Candy were two twins who appeared on the show. Upon their arrival, they each weighed in at around 600 pounds. However, their story is definitely a wild one. Brandy and Candy's obesity stemmed from an abusive childhood. They were molested by a friend of their father, a substance dealer. Their mother was an alcoholic. Sure enough, they took up eating food as a way to cope with their emotions. Despite everything, the twins' first episode had a very happy ending. Candy made a full recovery, and she and Brandy each lost more than 200 pounds. The reality stars also had some advice for anyone considering losing weight with gastric bypass. They just need to stay focused, and if they really want it, it can happen, Brandy said. But the surgery is not like you have it, and it's fixed. You have to work at it. Overall, a great story. Henry Foots. As one of the first stars of the show, Foots endeared himself to viewers with his kind disposition and sincere desire to show up to his high school reunion looking his best. Thanks to his hard work and determination, Foots went from 750 pounds to 275 pounds, an absolutely amazing accomplishment. He was literally less than half the man that he used to be, poised to put his past behind him. After the surgery, he carried on as a shuttle bus driver and used to motivate all the patients of the show My 600-Pound Life. However, things took a dark turn as we ended up losing Henry. On November 29, 2012, he suffered an unspecified medical incident that caused him to pass out while driving a shuttle bus. The consequences of the incident were not very pleasing. The accident caused the bus to hit an SUV and then ran into a woman standing on a corner. Hurriedly, an ambulance was called and she was taken to the hospital. However, she could not survive the injuries and passed away. Henry was able to survive the accident, but from his complications, he passed away a couple months later. Rest in peace, Henry. Tara Taylor. Tara Taylor appeared on the show weighing in at over 610 pounds. The mother of two was practically bedridden, with the extra pressure on her joints making it too painful for her to walk. She mostly relied on her family members to take care of her two kids, before finally making the decision to get help with weight loss. Luckily, Tara was able to do just that, burning over 300 pounds off of her body, but unfortunately her weight loss ended up giving Tara more complications. When I was 600 pounds, I was very healthy, never got sick or anything, Taylor told TLC for an update in 2018. But since I had the surgery and lost all this weight, I get sick so easily. But things have definitely got a lot better for Tara. In fact, she's engaged. Turns out she's set to marry Eugene, the old friend she went on a date with during a 2015 catch-up episode. I have never in my life been on a traditional date. She admitted at the time, "I don't know if I'm ready, but I'm going to take a chance. Now that I have lost the weight, this is a whole new world for me. The reason I am willing to give Eugene a chance is that he is a good man.